Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. So today Joel and I are taking a little drive down memory lane. We are going out toward where we got married. We aren't going to go all the way to where we got married, but we're going to drive out that direction, and we can't wait to share it with you guys. So we hope you enjoy.
I'll talk. Alright. Children, women, men,
It's pretty weird.
ghosts, animals, underwater creatures. Sorry. Okay.
See, you like can't help yourself. Just pretend that it's not on and we're still having the conversation we had before.
I'm gonna start over again. So, yesterday, we took a drive out to one of our favorite areas where we live, which is Petrolia, Honeydew, the Lost Coast. If you're not familiar with the Lost Coast, it is
Lost.
It is just a really cool area because the mountains just come straight off the ocean. Our adventure started, and we were pretty new, we'd been together for about a year, and we decided to go out to the Punta Gorda Lighthouse, which is at the north end of the Lost Coast. It's an abandoned lighthouse.
We had been together for like a year at this point, but still I feel like we were really getting to know each other. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that day she found out something about me. I like going on adventures. I don't really get too stressed out if stuff doesn't go the way I planned. And that's kind of what happened that day. So we start off at our apartment. I decide we're going to go out to the Lost Coast, do a hike. The first mistake that we made was
The car choice.
Normally we would just take my 4Runner everywhere. If we're going to go somewhere that was pretty up in the mountains, nasty driving, it'd be the 4Runner or my truck. But I thought, let's take your car, which at the time was a Toyota Corolla.
Excellent
I don't know
car.
why we took that car. A Toyota Corolla named Carl.
Fun story though, that's kind of how we started dating in the first place, because we had matching Toyota Corollas, and I needed a rack for my paddleboard, and he had one that he wasn't using, or you had it on your car or something, you told Kimberly.
Oh yeah, because I was getting rid of it, so I didn't need the rack anymore. Nothing.
And he bribed me into a date. He said I could have the rack if I went on a date with him.
No, that's creepy. Yeah, I pulled up, my arm hanging out. The Corolla. I was like, nice.
2001 Corolla.
I was like, nice Corolla. That's real nice. Anyway, so we took her car. You know, everyone knows what a Toyota Corolla is. They don't go off-road. And the plan wasn't to really go off-road. I had driven out to this place in a car before. I'm pretty sure in my Corolla before. So, and we'll cut to some footage of the drive out there, because it's pretty rugged terrain. But it was summertime. It was dry out. I wasn't really too worried about it.
I feel like my Corolla also had questionable, like, front end things happening.
They all do.
Yeah, so there's also that.
We get out there, and the last section of road dropping down to the trailhead, there's a sign that has like a little picture of a Jeep on it that says 4-wheel drives only, and
which we didn't see at that moment.
And
do you remember when we saw that?
Well, on the way out, yeah.
Yeah.
And then as we're going down the hill, Katie gets a look at it and she's like, do you think that we should go down this? And I'm really optimistic. I mean, I've taken cars where they really shouldn't go. We start going down the hill and she's kind of worried about it. I'm not too worried about it, but then I noticed that the road has been freshly graded, so it's pretty darn soft. We get down almost to the bottom. There's a big switchback where you could see a whole bunch of people had been stuck. That's where I should have called it, but I was like, okay, we'll just have to take a running start at this on the way back. And I go down it with no worries, and we get down, park at a beautiful spot above the ocean. We take our hike. We go to the Punta Gorda Lighthouse, which is just a really cool spot because you probably won't see anyone else there. Maybe a couple people hiking, but usually you have it to yourself. Cruised on back up.
How far was that walk?
That walk,
I feel like it was a mile each way.
Yeah, it's a mile and a half, but it's really steep.
And it's on sand mostly.
Well, not
once
coming.
You get down to the beach.
Well, yeah, once you get down to the beach, you cross a couple creeks and whatnot, but it's a relatively easy hike. Beside the hill going back up, it's steep. We get back up there, get up to the struggle to get just to the corner where we saw people stuck from earlier, the switchback, and it was a no-go. I hit that thing a million times. That poor little Corolla was just shaking and quaking and thinking of better days driving on pavement. Basically, we had to back down the hill, leave the car, got any supplies in there that we could use, you know, for our hike out, some snacks and warm
left a
clothing.
Nice note.
Left a note that said, please do not destroy our car, we will be back for it someday. And
just so you know, this is like in the middle of nowhere. There's not cell service. You can't call someone. You can't get a tow truck. This is not like, oh no, we got stuck on the beach and we can call a friend to come and get us. Like, we had to, I had to come to terms with what was about to happen and try to get out of there, because we had driven, I mean, we go on long drives. This is like the thing that we like to do. It was a decent drive. It took us probably, from Eureka, it probably took us, what, 2 hours to get out there?
Yeah, at least 2 hours.
2 hours. But the last town that you see, like...
You're about, I think, like 12 miles away from the last town.
And by town, I mean a place that has a store.
Yeah, there's nothing out there. If you were to get a tow truck, it would have to come from like 50, 60 miles away. Probably be like $1,000 at least, which that's more than a Toyota Corolla's worth probably. So yeah, she was like, well, what do we do now? And I was like, grab our things and start walking and hope that we get cell phone reception at some point so we can get a ride on out of here. So the whole area out there, Petrolia, Honeydew, it's a really neat spot. And really, I think what brought people there a long time ago, like early settlers, they were like sheep farmers and sheep herders, whatever you call it. And then
shepherds? I think they're shepherds.
And then during the Back to the Land movement, lots of hippies moved out there, you know, that wanted to live like a natural life and grow all their own food and everything. So you have a lot of old hippies out there, and then Humboldt County, where we're from, there's...
This is not the time.
Copper, knock it off. There's people growing pots, a pretty big thing. So,
you may have seen a recent documentary called Murder Mountain, which is about where we live. It's not like that everywhere, so don't get that twisted, but that is where we live. Yeah,
so basically you have a lot of old pot farmers, you know, old hippies and new pot farmers, and there's a lot of great people out there, but at the same time, people doing that don't really like strangers just roaming through, especially on foot. So
yeah, so I was a little extra nervous just to walk out of there. Yeah,
in the end, I don't even think we saw anyone the whole time.
No,
or else they probably would have given us a ride. That's one cool thing out there is people will help out, but That's if you run into people. And we were on a road that doesn't get much traffic. It's a dirt road the whole way. So anyways, we just started hoofing it, and great view along the way. Luckily, we actually got reception near the end of the road, close to the mouth of the Mattole River, and there's beach access there, and picnic tables and campground.
Oh, cover your breath. Oh my god.
So
Sorry,
we started calling people. We were able to get a hold of her sister, who sent her husband Jesse out, and you know, from where he is, it's probably a 2-hour drive, and we had started this trek early evening. So, you know, we got a fire going, and we just hung out and ate the rest of the food we had with us until Jesse got out there to pick us up. And then went out there the next day in my truck, which we should have taken in the first place, and a tow strap, and drug that poor little puppy up the hill. And
yeah, his brother had to come and help though, because that's not something that I would have been capable of.
yeah, she's not used to ripping stuff out of the mud and all that, so.
No, definitely not. Carl made it.
In the end, nothing bad happened, and
yeah, it's a good story now. It's one of our favorite stories, I feel like, to tell. And it was funny telling my family that story and then telling them that that's where we were going to get married. So like, why did you choose to get married out here? I'm like, oh, this is where Joel and I got stuck that time. And they're like, wait a minute, you're gonna make us drive out? And the wedding venue wasn't on that same road, it was on a different road, but it's just funny telling them that story and then being like, yeah, we're gonna have you drive out here. Baby was kicking me, so I had to lean back.
oh, little baby Chuck Norris.
Little Ferdinand.
You settle down in there.
So this is the road we made everyone drive out for a wedding.
Hey, you pipe down back there. I will pull this car over. I swear. Hey, we're nowhere near a beach or a river, so just knock that off.
Are we gonna drive out to the beach?
I was thinking about it.
So I'm gonna try to zoom in to where they are. I don't know if you'll be able to see them or not. They're pretty far at this point. That is Battleship Rock. It looks a lot like a battleship, obviously. We were talking about all the things we had to do for the wedding.
I wish someone else would have come to the dump with me. I think did Cooper come? And Cooper came.
Yeah, I think Cooper stayed with you most of the time.
But it was like the most hillbilly backwoods dump you've ever seen in your whole life.
Oh, because it was the Petrolia or Metol.
Yeah. First off, any normal dump, what we had to throw away would have been like $30, and it was like $150.
Oh my gosh.
And
Should have just brought it back to town.
the guy working it was just such a character. He just comes out of this little shack, and he pointed like where he wanted me to throw the bags, and this bag didn't really matter. But the bag I threw, he had this like big bar, and he would just, as soon as I threw it down, he would just like beat the crap out of it.
Why?
I think just trying to flatten it down. He was like a humid garbage compactor, you know? But he was like, you could tell that was his favorite part of the job. You know, he's like, throw it right there, and then just just beating them. Oh man, it was pretty good. And then you could kind of tell, like, because you know, it was mainly trash, but then random wedding stuff that we threw away. And I could tell, like, he was waiting for me to go, like, yeah, there's some treasure in here. His whole little shack that he hung out in was like stuff he had rescued, like bowling trophies and whatnot. He had it all decorated with like just random little things out of the dump.
Bowling trophies, huh? Maybe those were his, maybe he earned those.
And he's also missing a hand from his bowling days.
He got Munson.
The other thing about Petrolia is if you get married out here, you have a party, people will just show up. So we had a couple random neighbors just like come over and grab a beer. We had
Did we? I remember the random dogs.
We had random dogs just show up. Was it a random dog that beat up our dog, or was that Austin's dog?
No, Austin's dog beat up our dog.
Yeah, we just had dogs running around. It's kind of cool. Eating scraps. My mom fed our dog like a whole charcuterie plate. I thought for sure he was gonna be making a big mess afterwards, but he held it together.
I know I had more than one concerned person come up to me like, your dog has had a lot of cheese and salami.
Your dog just had half a wheel of brie. Looks like a quarter pound of goat cheese.
And we didn't get any of it, by the way. We ate none of that.
I remember getting over there, I'm like, what the heck happened to this thing? Copper's just sitting there laying on his side with a big old pot belly. There's a whole bunch of stuff actually with the trailer. I just remember picking up the Dodge and realizing that it had a different size hitch and being like, oh crap, I was out of time to get it figured out. Found the adapter, and then when I put the weight distributing hitch on here, or on the Dodge, it was set at completely the wrong height. That took me a while to figure out, and then just remember leaving out this road way later than I wanted to. But Coop went up with me, and that was awesome because it was a good distraction, you know, if I was like tripping on this road a little bit with that trailer. He didn't know any better, so he wasn't freaked out. I'm like, Cooper, are you scared? No. Like, okay, good.
Should I be?
It's a funny memory because I drove out here so many times, you know, within like 2 days. Just loaded up to the brim. And then tricking all those people into showing
Bye.